Hey, good morning. It's Azrielle Lawless here. You found Vella, the place where we talk about all things to do with the new serial reading platform from Amazon called Kindle Vella. And it's just a new way to read wonderful books. Okay, they're not books when you start out, a lot of them. You can read them as they're being written because they're written one brief episode at a time. And out here on Lawless Reads, I read you the first episodes of Kindle Vellas that have caught my eye, where the author has given me permission to read them to you. So today I am going to be reading for you our very first, out here on Vella and on Lawless Reads, our very first contemporary romance. Okay, so it's called Private Eyes, and it is by author Dana Weber. Hey, Dana! She's an awesome person and a great author, and I really like this story. Here are the tags on the story: steamy, contemporary romance, love, sex, drama, female protagonist, erotica. Okay, and here on Vella, I don't edit these videos, so I read them straight through. So if you hear the cat, or my dog decides there's something that it's got to bark at, sometimes I'll leave those things in there if they're not terrible, if they're not too much. So it just, there you go, so you know. And let me read to you the synopsis, and there'll be a link to get to this story in the description of the video below. Private Eyes, like eyes. Ava, the wife of a wealthy money manager, confirms her suspicions are true, that her husband has been cheating on her. Wanting out of her marriage, she's looking for fun, excitement, and passion. But Jonathan refuses to let her go and takes extreme measures to keep her. Ava hires Kane to follow Jonathan, but their relationship shifts when he and Ava watch Jonathan walk into a hotel with his mistress. Now Kane wants to show her what she's been missing. Whoa! Okay, episode 1, Hide and Seek. Squeak approves. Never look for something you don't want to find. Those were the words that lurked in my head all last night when I debated with myself what to do about my husband and my marriage. We were the typical love story you see on TV, or one that plays out on the big screen. Girl meets boy in college, they fall in love. I was in my 3rd year of college, on my 3rd change in majors as well, and still unhappy with the future I foresaw, until I met Jonathan. After classes on Wednesday, it was typical for me to find my way to the local coffee shop to study and do some people watching and drink coffee. People watching was one of my hobbies back then. I loved imagining where someone was coming from and going after snagging their coffee from the barista and rushing out the door, creating a vivid life, lead and color, all in my mind. It was one of the most intriguing people watching. It was on one of those intriguing people watching excursions that a young man about my age caught my attention. He swaggered through the door with his baseball cap turned backward and the logo of the University of Baltimore barely seen through the shirt worn inside out. His presence alone demanded attention. He could pull off the look of strategic dishevelment perfectly. He winks at the girl behind the counter as she hands him the drink. Her slight blush and downcast eyes give away her inexperience and young age. The lack of facial hair gives him a look of someone younger, dressing up in his big brother's clothes, but the way he carried himself, strutting about as he was, I knew he was older, and a regular here. He knew exactly where the condiment bar was. He's also tall, much taller than me, and after he orders and picks up his drink, I watch as he scans the crowded cafe over the head of most of the patrons here. I don't want to be caught staring, so I look down at my empty coffee cup as he sits at the table next to mine. The barista wrote his drink order on the side of the paper cup in his hands, a caramel latte with extra caramel. A very girly drink, I think to myself. You're right, it is a girly drink, I hear mumbled next to me, and glance over at the boy sitting near me, meeting his gaze over my coffee cup. I've only just realized I'm holding my cup to my lips, even though it is empty. He continues, not shifting his gaze away from me. I'm not much of a coffee drinker unless it's loaded with sugar. I feel my face flame brightly. Did I say that out loud? He chuckles but shakes his head no. I saw you reading my cup. He nods down at the drink on the table. You aren't the first person to take notice of my drink. I'm Jonathan, he says, extending his hand for me to shake. Ava, I've never seen you on campus before. I see the questioning glint in his eyes before he realizes what I'm referring to. Yes, he says, running a hand down the front of his shirt over the massive emblem. 3rd year. Before I respond, I see him raise a hand in greeting and I look toward the door. Excuse me, Ava. It was nice meeting you. I swing my eyes back towards him and catch his smile as he stands. I hope to see you around. And he's off, towards the exit, towards his friend. I'm watching him and his friend stand outside the coffee shop and don't take notice when another group of people takes over the table Jonathan has abandoned until I feel a hand on my arm. Excuse me, is this wallet yours? Next to Jonathan's coffee is a wallet. I look back out the window and see Jonathan and his friend walking across the street. No, he just left, but I'll give it to him. I grab the wallet before anyone can object. I run out the door and see them turning the corner a block away. I quicken my steps, fearing they will disappear into a store before I catch sight of them, and I collide right into them as I turn the corner. Oh, I'm sorry, I say, pushing myself away from Jonathan and his friend. Jonathan's eyes widen in recognition, but he says nothing. He continues to stare at me. You left your wallet at the cafe. He blinks rapidly at the wallet I'm holding out to him, but he doesn't reach for it. He must think I'm a complete freak running after him because of his wallet. Of course, once he realized it was missing, he would have retraced his steps to the coffee shop, but I didn't want him to have to go through all that trouble if I could bring it to him. Thanks, he finally says, reaching for it. Kevin, this is Ava, my angel. I beam at his compliment. Kevin acknowledges me with a wave, but continues to stare at the window display. Ava, thank you. You're a lifesaver. Jonathan looks down at his watch and motions his head toward Kevin. We are on a research trip for a business marketing class, so I need to get going. Kevin turns and walks away from us. Let me take you out as a reward for this. Soon after our first date, I felt I'd found my purpose for college. I changed my major for the last time to art history and spent my days taking care of Jonathan. Whatever he needed, I was there to bring him, do for him, buy it for him. I enjoyed being needed. It gave my life a sense of purpose that it had previously lacked. So of course I said yes when Jonathan asked. We married the day after graduation and had plans for a big move to an even bigger city. But what they don't show you after the credits roll is the day-to-day life and the slow disintegration of a marriage falling apart, or in my case, I suspect already down the drain. No amount of liquid acid can clean out this drain or resuscitate my marriage. Yesterday, my day seemed to start out as typical. Oscar barks at the same time I hear the garage door going up. Jonathan is home. It's 7:30 in the morning, late for him, so I know he's here to shower and change and head back to the office. Maybe a bite of breakfast if it looks appealing. Oscar, the love of my life, dances around the door in the kitchen that leads out to the garage. He doesn't realize we aren't happy Jonathan is home, the traitor. He's not pretty to look at, but he's wonderful company on the nights my husband works late, or, as was the case this morning, doesn't come home at all. Another night at the office, I asked him as he walks through the kitchen door where I'm preparing breakfast. Egg white omelet with a mix of vegetables and fresh squeezed orange juice. I can't keep the saccharine out of my tone, but I'm not in a sweet mood. Could be my thoughts, might have been the sleepless nights. I'm not sure, and neither do I care. That's the second time this week, I say, finishing my greeting. No cheery good morning, because that's what's so good about this morning. Jonathan must be unaware of my sour mood because I feel him slip an arm around my waist from behind and draw me closer to him so he can plant a kiss in my hair. It doesn't help my attitude, but I allow the embrace. Now isn't the time for catty attitudes. And good morning to you, he says, releasing me. Smells delicious. I make a grunting sound in the back of my throat that he must think is a good sign, confirming that I agree, and he swats my behind. Let me shower quickly and I'll eat breakfast with you. And he's gone again. Oscar chases after him. Again, the traitor. But Oscar doesn't sense the anger I'm emitting. He's only happy to see his second favorite person. Me, of course, being the first, since I'm with him all the time, and I mean all the time. I have no life outside this house. That's how Jonathan wanted it, too. I have a bachelor's degree in art history, but he didn't want me to pursue a career that would use my brain. It's not like he didn't allow me to work, but he suggested it so often and made housewife sound so glamorous. I finally gave in and quit my job when I was 24 as an assistant curator for an art gallery in New York's famous arty district of Soho. How many times did he say that degree would hang on the wall for decoration? I was groomed to keep his home, keep him company. We have friends, but they are his friends. I don't have a person who is all mine, except for Oscar, the traitor, and my mom, which isn't anything to brag about. We don't always get along. Jonathan comes down soon after breakfast is ready. He's dressed for work, holding his briefcase and a short stack of papers. I need you to sign a few papers before I leave today, he says, sliding the papers and a pen over the counter to me. I glance down at them, but don't respond. How was your evening? Did you let Oscar sleep in our bed again? I don't like to sleep alone, I say in response. I quirk an eyebrow and stare back at him, not making a move towards the papers or the food. I know, it's just that the dog hair gets everywhere and it's itchy. Jonathan sits at the breakfast table, waiting for me to bring his plate of food and orange juice as customary between us. He's the breadwinner, I'm the bread baker. The cleaner before the maid comes. Wash the sheets today, okay? I'll be home this evening for dinner. Oh joy, I've won the consolation prize. I don't want to start an argument with him this morning because I know how it will end. We won't speak all day or night, disrupting my appetite and wasting this meal. I sing the Disney Frozen song in my head, let it go, let it go. I try to belt it out just as Queen Elsa would. It helps. I think it's like saying the Serenity Prayer at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Jonathan takes a bite of the omelet and sets his fork down. The eggs are cold now, and the omelet is bland. He stands, retrieving the papers I abandoned a few minutes ago. All right, that wasn't the whole episode, so be sure and click the link that I leave for you. And this has been Azrielle Lawless, another episode of Lawless Reads. This was Private Eyes by Dana Weber, out on Kindle Vella. Go take a look. Bye.